What is this new logo? Hey everyone, I'm back in England and I'm at a park that I've not been to in 13 years, Drayton Manor. The theming's a little bit better than expected and we're going to go for Shockwave straight away, which will be my first stand-up coaster. The pacing on that looks awful. Shock, we're going on the wave. Not gonna lie, I'm probably gonna need the highest setting on these seats. They're adjustable so they can slide up and down. Shockwave was really weird, but I kind of like it. The restraints obviously weren't the most comfortable, but I think that might have something to do with being tall. The 0G roll's really quite snappy, but I think that has something to do with the shaping being really odd and there's very little heart lining on it. The vertical loop's also quite good. Now we're going on a Zamperla air race with the creative name Air Race. This is low-key the most thrilling car because you're not swinging, so you get crazy laterals on that. Look at those laterals. I don't think I've ever been that close to throwing up on a ride before. Normally I don't really get nauseous on rides.
I don't get nervous, but I'm starting to get a bit shaky, you know what I mean? I'm a little bit weird.
I don't know what it was, but oh my god. Let's go on the Adventure Cove River Rapids. Pretty funky music. I believe this ride was shut for quite some time due to a tragic accident on it. But it's had quite a good looking re-theme. It looks pretty much brand new now. And why on earth do I have to slalom through all of this? Oh my god. It's kind of weird to think Shockwave Station is literally right above us. The River Rapids was fine, it doesn't really get you too wet, and there's some pretty cool scent pods on the ride. But I'm surprised by how direct the ride host was, because she said don't try and change seats throughout the ride because it may result in drowning. Shockwave's new theming somehow reminds me of that Guardians of the Galaxy ride at Disney. Let's go on another water ride, Stormforce 10. I'm kind of surprised by the theming. The boat's peeing. They look like balls. We're at the station after about 15 minutes and the ride is themed to a lifeboat station and I think it's done really well. Holy shit. Stormforce 10 is absolutely nuts. I've not got that wet on a water ride in a long time. But all in all, that ride is actually really good. It has 3 really solid drops. One of them's backwards and one of them gives ejector airtime. Straight out of the station there's a tilt track, but it doesn't tilt straight to become parallel with the drop. You still have another hump to crest as you go down, and on the back row it's ejector. And it comes with some pretty solid theming as well. And next up we're going on Maelstrom. I don't know what it is, but today it feels like I'm not coping with G-Force very well. It's funny I say that actually, because there used to be a ride here called G-Force. And the other thing about defunct rides at Drayton Manor, this tower Apocalypse. It seems like Apocalypse, this Intamin drop tower, this is going to be closing at the end of the season. And it looks like it's closed today as well. Anyway, we're going to go on Accelerator, this Vekoma family boomerang. I'm actually kind of surprised by the theming in this queue line. It's not bad. Megaloom. Drayton Manor, haha. That was taller than I thought it was going to be. Accelerate is not a bad ride at all actually. Probably one of the better family boomerangs I've done. Ooh, I wonder what they get in here. Maybe an RMC behind these oh. Yeah, it's not the biggest plot of land. Let's go into Vikings, the new for 2022 area of Drayton Manor. Jormungandr. This is a Zamperla powered coaster that's 35 years old. It opened originally in 1987, but along with the new area, it's had a bit of a retheme. I mean, a cred's a cred. Oh my god, be quiet. I'm sleeping here. What does this ride and Helix have in common? It's that they built the ride around a pre-existing tree. Also, it's green. Why are we doing this? Also, there's no restraint. I'm free to go and touch the tree. I'll probably get kicked out of the park though. Yay. Strength. Hooah! I'm riding on a horse. This is Valhalla at Pleasure Beach when it finally opens. So I am finally going to get on a Zamperla Nebula Z. It's been a long time coming. I could have gone on Tempest at Liseberg, which is the same kind as this, but it had a long queue, so I decided not to do it. But it'll be interesting to see if it rides as well as it looks. There's something really cool about the way these intertwine with each other. I have some very exciting news. Apocalypse is testing. This has made my day. Somehow that was quite nauseating again. That was Loki. Time for his brother, Thor. And yet again, this is probably going to be quite a nauseating ride. I really don't know what's up with me today. Somehow the cattle pen for this ride is massive. These things never get that much of a queue because they have such a big capacity. I also heard a few weeks ago this thing valleyed. Yes, there's now people on Apocalypse, so it looks like we will be able to ride that, though it is only operating on one side, so it might have a long queue. Thor's alright. So is the entire themed area. Obviously it's missing a thrill ride, but it's quite well landscaped, and that's only going to get better when all of this grows out a bit more. And the music's decent as well. Alright, let's get on Apocalypse. So only one side's open. Opening soon, more like closing soon. It'll be done at the end of the year. It's kind of giving Oblivion vibes. Both the soundtrack and the ride vehicles that are pretty much all closed. We've finally made it to the front of the line, and by the time we get on we'll have been queuing for about an hour and a half. But to be fair, we did know that only one car was going to be operating, so I think we knew what we were getting ourselves into.
What have I got myself into? I can't back out now.
To be fair, that's actually quite good. It's definitely one of the better Intamin drop towers that I've done. And that's only on the sitting side as well, so it's quite a good ride. And if the rumours are true that that does close at the end of the year, then yeah, I think queuing 90 minutes is justified, because I don't think there's any of those left in the UK. But if Drayton Manor mug us off and keep it open after this season, then it'll look a bit embarrassing for me. So now it's 4:20, which should mean that it's only 10 minutes until the park closes. But thankfully they extended the opening hours half an hour until 5, so we now have 40 minutes, which means it's time to get the last credit, which I already have. 13 years later, let's get back into Thomas Land. The man himself, Thomas the Tank Engine. So possibly to finish the day we're gonna go on Troublesome Trucks, which is this Giovanola family coaster that I rode. And here we've got Annie and Clarabelle. Doesn't that bring back some memories? Thomas the Tank Engine nerds. The Harold ride. What even is the Harold ride? That's the Harold ride. If there's one thing Giovanola do well, it's their family coasters. We've only been in Thomasland for a very short time. I kind of wanted to stay there for a bit longer just for the memories, but the park closes in 10 minutes and I'd like to give Shockwave a re-ride. Here we go, probably going to be the last ride of the day. Shockwave has no queue. Maybe we can get it a third time. Let's see. That was in fact the last train of the day on Shockwave, and we rode it on the back row. It's definitely rougher, but it's definitely bearable, and I actually think it's better on the back. the whip you get in the 0G roll is absolutely insane. Shockwave's definitely better than I anticipated. And the last thing, just because I could, I rode that stand-up coaster, one-legged. We've had a pretty mediocre day here, but that's a nice way to end it. Overall, I think Drayton Manor feels very typical for a UK park, almost like a mix between Flamingo Land and Thorpe Park, but with not quite as good of a ride lineup. And it also smells of weed, so whoever's doing that, probably from Birmingham. Well, they have extended it to 5 o'clock. I think the early closing times are a bit of a shame, but it's not only Drayton Manor, a lot of UK parks do this in general. So maybe we haven't been on as many rides as we would have wanted, but I'm very glad that I managed to get on a stand-up coaster. As always, thank you so much for watching this mini vlog. So now it's time to drive home, and my feet still haven't dried from Stormforce 10.
Buckle up, it's a drill ride.